I'm one of the partners of Open Space Ventures. We're a early stage Series A venture capital fund, and we invest in very interesting startups just in the Southeast Asian region, and the firm has $225 million under management.
So my name is William Baobin. I'm a partner at SOSV. We invest globally by sector. We go very deep by sector: hardware, biotech, food tech, agriculture tech, and I run internet and software. And we invest through our 7 accelerators around the world. So last year we did 167 investments. We have about 400 million under management. So as of Q2 this year, we're the most active early stage investor in the world. And for Southeast Asia, South Asia, we're focused mainly on mobile. So it's the largest sort of mobile-only, mobile-first market. So people's first experience with the internet is on their phone. And this is an area that we're focused on.
So I think travel has been one of the mainstays of the disruption that technology has created. So it continues to always be a sector that we focus on. I think the interesting thing about travel now is companies need to think about what actually travel means. With the mobile phone, you can actually do a lot more than just book flights and hotels. And I think innovative companies will come out of places which are least expected. And then they actually are tackling the travel space, but they're not setting up another OTA, or they're not setting up another hotel booking website.
Yeah, so I started investing in travel in 2004. When we worked on the IPO for the Expedia subsidiary in China called Elong. Since then, done maybe 15 investments in the travel space, and things have changed over time. So you see a progression in the industry. Travel has always traditionally been very hard for outsiders to break in, and now we've got some market leaders. And so I agree that travel is not just a hotel or a flight or even a bus ticket. It's an experience. And younger people these days, they're all about experiences. They don't want to buy blue jeans or a t-shirt so much anymore, but they want experiences that they can share. And so we're focused on this mobile-first, mobile-only generation, and they're looking at experiences that sort of make them happy to do things with their friends, as opposed to the last generation or last couple of generations, which just wanted to go out and buy things. So we think that's a huge opportunity, and we're investing in it. Do that.
You're seeing Asian startups. I think Traveloka is made a significant impact. So absolutely, I think you're looking at more and more people trying to do the destination piece, because the mobile phone is very powerful. The average $100 mobile phone now has 4 times more processing power than the supercomputer that beat Garry Kasparov in 1997. I think people don't realize that the amount of information that one has in the mobile device, and the willingness for the Asian audience to actually have you actually engage with that information to provide personalized and very effective travel services, something that's very different versus, say, the Western perspective. So yeah, I look forward to seeing a lot of disruptive Asian travel companies coming up.
So as early stage investors, we're focused on solving problems. And these can be hopefully large problems. For example, hotels are getting squeezed by OTAs, and their margins are getting compacted. So what can we invest in to help hotels better monetize? Well, is it sending their guests out of the hotel to do activities or to do restaurants? User acquisition is very important. So it's not just the bed that you sleep in, it's the range of activities around it. We're also seeing startups really being quite disruptive. So you think that hotels are done. But Oyo from out of India, now expanding into China, they're bringing a pretty innovative new model to turning dusty old nasty hotels into something that you can trust, something that's reliable, something that you can feel safe about booking. They've made a huge impact in a very short period of time. So I think there's still room for new startups to come in and disrupt people in travel, into the traditional industry players, because not everybody is satisfied.
So there's always this tension between profitability and scale. So to answer your perspective of what is dumb disruption, it maybe is a question that's leading to the idea that will these companies ever be profitable? Now, the interesting thing is that the people that are investing in these companies now, they're sophisticated investors, right? So us, as well as all the other big pension funds, they all have teams which actually analyze unit cost economics. They actually have a thesis that you may be unprofitable now, but you have a path to profitability which is pretty strong. The only difference is that the information asymmetry is that from the outsider, he can't see what the board sees. So if the board can see some phenomenal metrics, and therefore they are willing to delay profitability, then that's disruption that may look dumb from the outside, but it's probably not dumb on the inside.
Yeah, I think about in China right now, cost of user acquisition cost is extremely high. It can cost between $10 and $100 to get a single user, US dollars, in China. But then if you run out how much you can monetize that user over time, you find that if you've got a suite of services, you can do quite well. If you're coming in with a single service, it can be difficult. So across Southeast Asia, South Asia, you're seeing companies that might be coming out and leading with a single service. But over the long term, they can layer on a number of other services on top. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to monetize a user. And so the opportunity might not seem obvious on the outset, but over the long period of time, the lifetime value of those users is quite significant. So we're really, really early stage, and we invest through accelerators. So we invest about $150,000 before the accelerator in every company that we work with, and then we make the company live with us. Or spend time with us. For China Accelerator, it's 3 months in Shanghai. For Mox, it's 1 week here, 1 week there across Southeast Asia and in our Taiwan office. We help our companies scale cross-border. That's the goal of our accelerator. And then for the companies that do well through the accelerator and out the other side, we invest again, and we invite awesome, Series A VCs to invest alongside us in the companies, especially the companies that are doing well. So we're quite on the early stage. We invest in a lot of companies, and the way we add value, because everybody's money is sort of the same color. The way we add value is through our accelerators and our mentors. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs who have been there, done that, and they work alongside our team with the companies that we invest in to help them get to the next level.
So for us, we're investing out of Fund 2, which is $135 million, which we recently closed. So we have a lot of dry powder for 2018 and 2019. And we focus on Southeast Asia, so to the extent that we can find very interesting travel startups in Southeast Asia, and Southeast Asia is a huge tourism market, then of course we would love to invest in those companies. After we invest, which we generally put anywhere between $3 to $5 million US dollars, we have focus on the simple things, corporate governance, but also a lot of operational improvements. Half of our investment team, half of our firm don't do investments. Half of them are operational folks, half of them are investment folks. So we're very focused. As a result, we don't write that many checks. We write maybe 15 to 20 checks per fund. But we really focus and try to get them to the next funding round, which is very critical because the Series A is only the first step to a very long journey. Well, we've done a lot of business in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia. We were one of the first investors into Gojek. We've done well there. We've also continued to have a strong practice in Indonesia. But I've been telling a lot of people that Indonesia is not the only country in Southeast Asia. There's 130 million mobile phone users, smartphone users in Indonesia. There's about 325 across the region. So there are more smartphone users outside of Indonesia than there are inside. So I think the firm always wants to be open. That's why we call open space, openly charging into new things. So we like Philippines, we like Vietnam, we like Thailand. and we're increasing our attention to all the rest of the startups outside of Indonesia, but within Southeast Asia.
So we look at two things. One is sort of the problem and the unfair advantage that the entrepreneur is bringing to solve that problem. So at the very early stage, we don't have a lot of revenue history. There's not a lot of numbers there. So you're really investing in an interesting problem and then a team that's bringing something very special to that problem. For us, we're looking for entrepreneurs that are growing up in some of these small markets. I mean, Southeast Asia is quite fragmented. The individual markets are quite small. And what we do is we help those companies go cross-border into multiple markets. It takes a certain type of person, type of team to be flexible enough to step out of their home market and go into other markets and be successful in more than one place. So that's what we look for, people who can kind of step out and are willing to take that chance.
Give me your name card, quickly tell me what you do, make eye contact. I'll have a quick read of who you are. You'll have a quick read of who I am, follow up via email, and oh, can we have a cup of coffee? Look, let's just follow up by email. I'm very efficient on email, and if something really sticks because that's the space that the firm is interested in, then we can set up a meeting. We see almost 1,600 companies a year. That's not uncommon for a venture capitalist. So we are under pressure. We also don't want to miss anything. So my wife has very specific opinions about my work-life balance.